Pretty good? Wow. Okay. Bonjour tout le monde. Good morning, everyone. Great to be joined by our General Manager of Transit Services, Rick Leary, and our Chair of the Transit Committee, Glen Gower. Merci d'être ici ce matin. The people of Ottawa deserve reliable public transit. Les résidents d'Ottawa méritent un système de transport en commun qui est fiable et performant. I've been saying this for longer than I've been in politics, going back to my days as a journalist and broadcaster. The issues with Ottawa's LRT are one of the main reasons why I decided to run for office in 2022. We've made some progress during the last 3.5 years, but we still have a lot of work to do before residents have the system they want, the system they deserve. Nos résidents s'attendent à recevoir un service de qualité, et c'est ce que nous devons livrer. I hear feedback about transit whenever I'm out in the community, and whenever I take it myself, as I did a couple of times in the past week. Our trains were running well throughout last year, but as you know, we've had to reduce capacity since January when the spalling issues arose. I've been as frustrated as our customers that RTG and Alstom have not moved more quickly to resolve these issues. But under direction from our leaders at OC Transpo, they are finally implementing the solutions we need. Je partage la frustration des usagers qui veulent un meilleur niveau de service de RTG et Alstom. We are using every tool available to hold them accountable and get full service restored as quickly as possible, which is what our customers expect and deserve. Our bus service has also been challenging. Many of our older diesel buses have had mechanical issues, making our service much less reliable than it should be. That's simply not good enough for our customers. But we are finally starting to see some progress on this as well. Nous commençons à voir le progrès, et c'est encourageant. Just last week, the reliability of our bus system reached 99.5%. So it finally hit our target, which is great news. That's the highest level of performance since the pandemic. But it was only 1 week. We need to see that performance consistently so our customers know they can rely on our buses. Now, the reason we were able to hit that target is that we're finally putting into service the new electric buses we ordered early in this term of council. The production of those buses was impacted by COVID supply chain issues, but we're starting to receive dozens and dozens of new buses, and it's having a big impact on our system. Just 2 months ago, we had only 60 electric buses in service. By the end of June, we'll have 150 electric buses on the road. And by the end of the next year, we'll have 240. Nous aurons 240 nouveaux autobus électriques en service d'ici la fin de l'année. Ceci aura un impact positif sur notre capacité et notre fiabilité. As we continue to replace old, unreliable diesel buses with new, high-performing electric vehicles, our capacity will grow significantly, and our reliability will finally reach the level that our customers expect. On Friday, Councillor David Hill, Rick, and I took the bus and the LRT from Barrhaven all the way downtown. Over the course of that journey, we heard a lot of feedback from customers. It was very helpful, and I know Rick took a lot of notes. One thing that I heard from people, the service in the mornings has been more reliable in the past few weeks, but there are still challenges during afternoon rush hour. So we're making progress, but we still have work to do. Yesterday, Rick and I took the train in from Riverside South with Councillor Steve Desroches. We heard very good feedback about Line 2. La ligne 2 de l'Autrin performe très bien et nos résidents dans le sud de la ville sont reconnaissants pour ce service qui dessert plusieurs nouvelles communautés. Line 2 has been extremely reliable since it was launched over a year ago, and that's in part because we followed all of the recommendations of the public inquiry when we tested and commissioned that service. As a result, our park and rides are very well used, and this line is doing a great job supporting the growing communities in the south end of Ottawa. Now, Rick Leary has been on the job for a little over a month now. He got right to work meeting with customers and employees, and as he promised when he was introduced to the community, he's been developing a strong, comprehensive plan to increase performance and restore confidence in our transit system. One of his top priorities is to restore full capacity on Line 1. In addition, Rick has met with the leaders of our labor partners, and he's toured OC Transpo facilities to listen to drivers and mechanics and identify opportunities to do things differently. Rick est en train de repenser notre offre de services au complet. As Rick always says, we have to work smarter, not just harder. I've been very impressed with what Rick has done so far by his knowledge and his expertise and by his willingness to get out in the community and listen to customers and staff. Today, Rick is going to present his plan for a new, much better chapter for public transit in Ottawa. Rick, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Bonjour. First, I want to say thank you to the Mayor for the kind words and let you know that it's an absolute honor to be here today in the role of the General Manager of OC Transpo in our nation's capital. You know, I've spent my first 30 days here, and I spent time listening and speaking to our customers, and as the Mayor said, talking to union leaders, employees, and as well as members of council. I've received a lot of feedback, and I appreciate all the discussions that I've had. Today, what I'd like to do is talk to you a little bit about my initial assessment and the 10 points that will drive change in our transit system. Now, since joining the City of Ottawa, I've been using the bus, the O-train system. I've had the opportunity to visit our control center and our garages to really see them in action. And I'm excited about the potential to improve transit here in Ottawa. Now, I've said it before, and I really mean it. The sorts of issues that OC Transpo has experienced are not unique to Ottawa. Transit agencies across North America have all faced similar issues, challenges. City Council has invested a lot in the bus fleet, the O-train, new paratranspo vehicles, infrastructure upgrades, as well as customer improvements and technology that lay a solid foundation for good transit service. We have all the components to turn the page and improve OC Transpo service reliability for our customers. Now, my job is to turn those initiatives into real improvements residents can see and feel in a strong, more reliable transit system that is worthy of our nation's capital. Now, based on my initial 30-day assessment, what I've done is I've created a OC Transpo's Customer First Action Plan. Now, this plan is grounded in one core principle: improving the customer experience at every step of the transit journey. We want to build the most customer-focused transit system in Canada. Now, this action plan has 4 key areas to focus on that will really drive these results, and let me tell you what they are. We are going to make service more reliable. We are going to put our customers first. We're going to strengthen our financial stability, and we're going to build a sustainable workforce. These are the areas that really reflect the clear direction that I'll tell you that the city manager has provided to me, further supported by the mayor and the transit committee chair, who are both here with me today. And I'll let you know, as I receive feedback, and all the feedback I've received so far, and my experience in the transit industry, I'm getting excited. Improvements in all these areas translates into a transit system that this city expects and deserves: reliable, predictable, and sustainable transit. Now, at Transit Committee on Thursday, I'll be going into a lot more detail about the action plan. But for now, what I thought I'd do is just provide an overview of how we can drive change through this plan. And the first, what we need to do is make the service more reliable. We must improve the reliability of our O-train, bus, and paratransport services. And as I mentioned, the direction made clear to me on my first day was to restore capacity to Line 1. And we're making progress here. And I'm pleased to actually be able to tell you that by the middle of June, we will have 2 car trains back in service on Line 1. Very comfortable with that. Line 1 will have the capacity to welcome everyone, whether you're returning back to the office more often or taking part in Canada Day celebrations or the Blues Fest this summer. We'll be back. And I'd like to let you also know that in my short time here, I've observed that the O-Train service is frequent and reliable. And I've been stressing to everybody, every 3.5 to 4 minutes, that train comes. It's a spectacular service, right? We should be very proud as a city that we have that. I'll let you know, we have a positive and collaborative relationship with our maintainers, the Rideau Transit Group, as well as Alstom. And today I can tell you that they'll be joining us on Thursday at our Transit Committee to answer questions about getting back to the capacity residents expect. Now, the second clear direction for me was to build back the bus reliability. We know that our customers' experience of buses arriving on time at their stops, it's only about 65 or 70%, right? But we also know we can improve this. And to get there, we need to have a couple of things. First, we need buses that are reliable, and then we need a schedule that is really attainable. I'd let you know that maintaining 20-year-old buses is very, very difficult, but our intent is to refocus the way we plan maintenance. And right now, our team splits its time almost equally on corrective and preventative repairs. We need to change this, and we will. We should spend about 80% of our time on preventive maintenance and 20% of our time on corrective maintenance. So when it comes to this topic, there's a clear path when we look at our fleet. Over the course of the next year, we're going to focus on putting into service the new zero-emission buses and the new 60-foot buses that the city has purchased. We're going to prioritize maintenance hours on vehicles that can be dependable for our customers, and we're going to retire the least reliable buses that require the most frequent and intensive maintenance and repairs. But I'll tell you that the good news is I'm already starting to see some of this materialize and service starting to improve. And I'm confident that we're going to continue to see significant improvement in the coming months. I'm very confident. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the second component is adjusting our schedules to reflect actual travel times. We want our customers to have schedules that they can rely on. Now, this action also addresses, I'll tell you, what I have heard directly from the union leaders as well as our frontline operators: reliable schedules. We've also added, I'd let you know, we've added some time to the schedules on a number of routes already to account for real travel times, but we're going to continue to expedite this work until all the necessary routes have been reviewed and updated. Allocating accurate travel time will mean the schedules are predictable for our customers. Now, on the Transpo side, our customers are another important part of our transit service. And we have good discussions with Transpo customers regularly, but I want to hear from them more about how the service can continue to be improved to support spontaneity, participation in the community, and quality of life. As part of this plan, we're going to launch a new consultation process to hear how you would like to see Transpo continue to grow. I'm excited about that. Now, the next area that we're going to focus on is really enhancing putting customers first. And I've said this action plan will put customers first in every aspect of service-related decisions that OC Transpo will make. To do this, we have 3 areas: customer safety and experience, communicate reliably, and measure what matters to our customers. Now, these will shift operational decisions to deliver results for our customers. Part of the service improvements will be providing a clean, comfortable, and safe experience on our vehicles and in our stations. And I'll let you know that work is already underway. Our team is giving the entire bus, Transpo, and O-Train system a deep clean for the spring to increase our customers' comfort. Our forthcoming public safety strategy will also outline a number of initiatives to improve our comfort, safety, and security of our system for customers. Now, this strategy includes, we're going to launch the Special Constables Community Visibility Team, and they're on bikes and on foot, and they're going to be patrolling downtown stations. In the coming weeks, you're going to see employees at Rideau Station as we put new efforts to revitalize the station with repairs, signage, and cleanliness. And you're going to see more visibility and presence in our stations with more special constables as well as customers and employees across the network. We're also committed to ensuring our customers know the progress that we're making. Our commitment is to continue to communicate regularly and effectively with customers to follow through on our priorities. It's so important to message it. And finally, Data will fuel our decisions. The data we use needs to reflect the daily experience that our customers, and our reporting needs to represent their real-life experience. We're developing new key performance indicators that will help guide our discussions and decisions. By understanding what the customers experience daily, we can better address their concerns. And I'm going to introduce new KPIs at Transit Committee that will reflect the customer's experience. And I tell you, for instance, we know that approximately 17% of our fleet experiences issues in service daily. That means customer trips are impacted. We hear it, and that needs to change, and we're going to report on how our efforts are making real improvements. I'm going to talk a little bit about strengthening our financial stability, because that's very important for me. Council's made, again, significant investments in purchasing zero-emission buses, improving the infrastructure around those buses, as well as building a light rail system and customer improvements over the last number of years. Now, by uploading the LRT to the province, the city can eliminate $85 million in annual budget pressures, creating capacity to reinvest in transit service, enhancing reliability and frequency and capacity while strengthening our financial position. Very important. And I look forward to working with the mayor and others and our provincial colleagues to advance this very important work. Now, another component of this long-term financial viability is planning and is building a 10-year capital investment plan for transit. We're also going to take that plan and make sure our federal partners are aware of our long-term needs. We can deliver better transit when all levels of government work together. Now, I'll let you know we're leaving no stone unturned when it comes to the bottom line, and the team is working very hard to increase revenues from non-traditional resources like digital advertising, and bringing the OC TRANSPO's program in line with other industry leaders. We're also pursuing innovative partnerships with major employers and other organizations to design fare packages that we can result in additional revenues over the long term. Again, more important, get more people on the vehicles and more revenue to the organization. Now, finally, to do all this, we need to build a sustainable workforce. So key. There's so much work to be done. Our employees keep the entire transit system moving every day, and they're our frontline ambassadors to our customers. We want to ensure that they are supported, engaged, and empowered so that we are a top transit employer in Canada. That's what we want to be. Our integrated workforce strategy will accelerate recruitment of frontline positions that directly support service delivery. These are our mechanics, our bus and paratransport operators, diesel and electric rail operators, as well as our controllers and special constables. I'd let you know that we've had successfully been hiring 9 mechanics since January, and it's about half of what we intend to have by the end of this year, the 20 mechanics on by the end of this year. It's critical to have the right support and talented employees to make sure our vehicles run reliably. In transit, we need to be 2 steps ahead of the hiring process and forecast our needs. Now, I'm also committed to building an engaged and informed workforce. And what you've heard today is the results of employee feedback, and I look forward to continuing those discussions with frontline employees, customers, and everyone as well. I know it's unusual to speak publicly ahead of Transit Committee, but I felt that it was really important to get out there and speak directly to the customers. I've let it be known I would speak more often. Let the customers and the employees speak more often. So I'm here. Residents deserve to know that we have a clear plan to improve their reliability, strengthen their service, and rebuild confidence in OC TRANSPO. I'm very excited about that last aspect of it. Rebuild the confidence in this organization. I'm inviting residents to tune into Thursday's meeting at 9:30 to hear more about the work ahead, and I'll be launching a series of town halls to hear directly from OC TRANSPO customers. I want their feedback and ideas on how we can improve this service, and I'm sure we're going to hear a lot from them. Now, over the next 60 or 90 days, we're going to continue, and I call it peeling the onion. It's really digging deeper to provide more details on the current state and the path forward and how we're going to achieve our goals and report back on all of our work. Now, I am excited for OC TRANSPO's future and realizing its full potential. And as I said earlier, these issues are not unique to Ottawa. OC Transpo has a solid foundation. There are good people here that have the skills and passion to deliver quality service. From here, we can build a transit system that our customers deserve and expect. And I'm excited to bring my knowledge, my experience, my fresh approach, and direction to improving transit. So with that, what I'd like to say now is I'd like to invite the Chair of the Transportation Committee, Chair Gower, to come up and say a few words. I want to say thank you very much for being here. Merci.
Thanks very much, Rick. You've really been hands-on and all in over the last 4 or 5 weeks here. Thank you. Great transit is essential to a healthy, growing city. Economic growth, more choice for how you get around, more choice for where you live or have a job, affordability, and of course, mobility. This 10-point action plan will help us make progress on making transit work for everyone in our city. And as a regular transit user, there's a lot here that I'm excited about. The focus on building back service reliability will mean customers can again rely on OC Transpo for predictable bus schedules, to be on time for their jobs, for their school, for their appointment, for events. And I'm really glad to see the focus on customer service, on security, on comfort, on convenience. And I'm excited about Rick's plan to connect directly with customers. He's already been out riding the trains and the buses with some councillors and the mayor in the past few weeks. And that's exactly how you put customers first and improve the experience at every step of the journey. And finally, Rick talked about the importance of all levels of government working together and investing in transit. With the upload and new investments, we can continue to improve transit in our city and keep it affordable. As Rick said, we'll be rolling out more information in the coming weeks and months, including this Thursday at Transit Committee. And I want to thank Rick for presenting this plan, the work you've done with OC Transpo staff to put this together. And with your leadership, I'm confident we're going to build a healthy and thriving city with a strong transit system. And I'll now turn it over to Katrina for questions. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Bon matin, tout le monde. Thank you for being here. Merci d'être ici. I'll be your moderator today for our question period. I will invite each agency in reverse alphabetical order to ask one question and one follow-up. Je vais inviter chaque organisme de presse par ordre alphabétique inversé à poser une question et une suivie. Nous allons commencer par Frédéric Papin, Radio-Canada.
I'll start with Mr. Leary, Monsieur le Maire, if you don't mind. Mr. Leary, so I guess we're going to get more details on Thursday about how you're planning to, you said June for the double trains on tracks. What's new? How do you think you're going to get there? We know now that we have 27 vehicles available. That could be enough for double trains, but do you have more on the CBA's issue, more on what the long-term solution also is?
So I'll tell you, we've been working closely with our transit partners and having a lot of collaboration on getting things done, right? And that's what my focus has been, sitting with them and being very clear about getting things done. We've all agreed, we've heard a lot about the Spalding and all the issues, but for me it was working with them, getting the schedule together, getting the materials in, getting the staffing in, the abilities to do it in the garages, and let's get it done. They're all on board. I'm going to tell you that we had a great partnership with them, a great collaboration, but that's my focus, right? They're the experts in a number of these areas, but having had a number of conversations with them, we're getting some targets done.
If you don't mind, I'll ask a question to Mr. Mayor. En français, Monsieur le Maire, il y a beaucoup de choses dans ce plan d'action. Évidemment, M. Leary est nouveau et il amène sa vision, mais il y a plusieurs choses dans ce plan d'action-là qui ne sont pas nouveaux. Le upload, on ne sait même pas quand est-ce que ça va se faire. C'est la province qui l'a promis. Mettre la priorité sur les clients, je veux dire, est-ce qu'on dit que OC Transpo ne faisait pas ça avant?
Non.
Donc, vous, est-ce que vous avez confiance que ça, c'est vraiment la solution?
Absolument. C'est un plan très clair. C'est un plan avec un nouveau gérant. Alors, Rick a beaucoup d'expérience, beaucoup de connaissances sur les trains et les bus. Et il n'y a aucun problème ici à Ottawa que Rick n'a pas n'a pas à avoir faire face en avant. Alors, c'est un plan clair, c'est un plan qui met les usagers d'OC Transpo à l'avant et je pense que c'est le plan dont nous avons besoin pour améliorer le service et pour atteindre nos objectifs, pour avoir le service que nos résidents méritent et que nos résidents attendent.
Merci.
Et next is Aidan Helmer from the Ottawa Citizen.
Question for Mr. Leary, if you don't mind. Just going back to the spalling issues, we have been sort of waiting to hear about the root cause analysis and what people have determined. This is going back quite a ways to the Horrigan Commission, to the Transportation Safety Board. There have been sort of all sorts of theories. Your predecessor has said that there may be a redesign that's necessary. Just wondering if you've come any closer to identifying the root cause and what the extent of the redesign might be, whether it's the CBAs, the axles, the trains themselves, or the track.
So I'll tell you, we'll be reporting out more in the coming months when it comes to coming to committee and giving updates on that. I'll just let you know that, over the 30-year life of a vehicle, doing redesigns is very common. Every 5 or 7 years, you're going through the trucks and the bogies and redoing the material. So it's not uncommon. What you're seeing here is not uncommon in the industry, but more information can be provided in the near future.
Okay. I just wanted to sort of go back a little bit further. There's been a very complicated history, obviously, in Ottawa with the LRT. A lot of issues that were identified by the Transit Commission report and the TSB. I'm just wondering how familiar you are with those, what your takeaway is from those, and what guidance you take from some of those findings moving forward.
So, I'm just working very closely, as you can see, with the inner staff about trying to come up with some little real issues that we can deal with and move forward with, right? So I've had an opportunity to get briefed regarding it, but more details I'll have to come back with you on more details, to be honest with you. I want to make sure that we have the best quality service here in this city, right? And talking with our partners in the business, right? Knowing some of them for quite a few years, right? And getting the same goal of getting service back, that's what's the real focus for all of us. Safe and reliable service. You never jeopardize that.
Prochainement, Sébastien Pierrose, Le Droit.
Hi, Mr. Leary. You've spoken a lot about trust. Do you believe there is a legitimate loss of trust, loss of confidence among
Well,
residents?
I've been out riding, and I got to tell you, I hear a lot of positive from the residents of the city and the people that work in the OC Transpo. I do hear the concerns about reliability. 9 out of 10 people talk about reliability and waiting. Right? And most of them, which I really appreciate, always say, but don't blame the operator. He's a great operator. We have great people at OC Transpo. So that's the focus I have. And building that reliability will build confidence in the residents, hopefully bring more people back to public transit. And, it'll put OC Transpo, from a, what's the right word I'm looking for, reputational. Right? Try to build its reputation.
Okay. And can you provide a timeline for when the extension of the O train toward Orleans will begin operating?
So right now, we're still working on some additional timeframes. The focus was to get service restored on Line 1 while we look at the east extension to do trial running. So we're going to be staging this in steps, so you'll hear more, but not today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is Tyler Fleming at CTV.
Hi, Mr. Leary. You've been here for some time now. Is there one particular aspect of this transit system compared to other systems that you've dealt with that you would say needs immediate action?
So first, this is my 4th transit system, so I'm very familiar with the way other transit systems work, and I'm getting very familiar with this transit system. As you can see, within about the first 30 days, putting the action plan together was what became readily available to me to see, having talked to all the staff, right? So I don't see this any different than other challenges other transit systems have across North America, right? And this is doable, and we can get there.
My second question's for the mayor. Your reaction to Doug Ford's comment about putting the Defence Bank, putting his weight behind the Defence Bank in Toronto.
We feel that we have a very strong case to make, and we've been making the case that the Defence Bank should be in Ottawa-Gatineau. It allows the federal government to situate the bank in our two largest provinces, to situate it near the headquarters of national defence and the Canadian Armed Forces, to situate it close to the 130 foreign missions that are in our city, and to situate it near Parliament Hill. So we have a very strong case to make. We have a bilingual workforce, an international workforce. We are Canada's defence innovation hub, and we straddle the border between the two largest provinces in the country. I respect the fact that there are people who feel that it should go in Toronto because that's the perceived fiscal and financial capital of the country, but I think there's a very strong case to be made that that Ottawa-Gatineau is the place for the bank, and we're going to continue to make that case, and then we'll see where it ends up. But no matter what happens with the bank, we are going to see historic levels of investment from the federal government in defense technology in the months and years ahead. And I think a huge portion of that is going to be invested in the Ottawa-Gatineau area because we have the expertise, the innovation, and the companies and talent right here in the National Capital Region that are driving a lot of the economic activity in that area, and that's going to continue.
Next is Arthur White-Crummy at CBC.
Hi there. This will be for Rick. I was just, we heard a lot about the very positive trajectory with the bus reliability numbers. Part of that, of course, is that we are operating with reduced schedules. There were 255 trips cut. I think the spring schedule is still reduced. Today, we're talking a lot about bringing more predictable schedules so at least people know what to count on. Does predictable mean that customers should expect that those reduced, more realistic schedules that we have right now are going to continue and that those trips won't be restored?
No, I would tell you that the plan is, we have a heavy maintenance program going on this summer with the intentions of putting more service back in the future. Absolutely, that's what we're working on, fixing the vehicles that can be fixed to stay on the road and be more reliable. And as we've changed the schedules, right, make it more reliable as well. So you'll see things in the coming months when it comes to the quality of service out there, especially when you see all these new vehicles. The mayor talked about it. As these new vehicles roll in and we get to retire the oldest vehicles, 20-year-old vehicles are very difficult to maintain. These new vehicles are beautiful. They're environmentally friendly, right? They're smooth, they're quiet. You know, it's a beautiful ride. So I'm looking forward to getting more of them in there. And that's all part of, that's why I really want to focus on this customer-first action plan. All the things in here we can do, we know this will have a meaningful difference to the residents and the customers in the city.
As for the LRT, you're now floating a date of June, I believe, for the potential restoration of double car service. It was previously the end of May, and we already have the 27 cars. So why aren't we doing it right now?
Right, so what we're doing is we're making sure that we have to have enough spares, as you can imagine, right, to stay on top of the maintenance, stay on top of the work that they're doing, and that's why we've chosen that date. You know, could it be a little bit sooner? Very likely, but, you know, I'm under committing, as you can imagine, right, knowing that working with our partners, that they believe that date is very achievable, and staff do as well.
We do have time for a second round of questions, so I'll start from the beginning of the list. Fred, si vous avez une autre question et un suivi.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Leary, like there's, I guess we're going to see this plan, the complete plan eventually, but can you give us an idea of like how you're going to achieve, you know, better service availability or something that we can tell people, you know, at home, like this is what Mr. Leary is going to do in his 10-point plan?
I'm going to talk a lot about that when we come to the committee meeting. You know, I mentioned that, you know, 17% of the buses break down and have issues every day in service. That hurts, right? It becomes very difficult to be reliable. We know through, we're talking with the union president, a number of those schedules, you can't get there from here, as we say, right, in a time frame. So we know we can make these adjustments, you know, together, working as a team, that'll provide a lot more reliable service to our customers. And as the buses become more reliable and we change those schedules for true travel times, you'll start hearing it and seeing it from the customer's perspective, how much happier they are.
And are we up to date with training for electric bus operators and also for LRT vehicles? I mean, you need to train your staff, and it's in one of your points there.
Yeah, no, it is. One of the things I really want to push is more hiring, right? We don't run the place on overtime. We run the place with real talented individuals. We have, I was in on a Sunday a week ago, and we're training on Sundays, getting the operators aware of the new vehicles. They're excited about it. Talked to a lot of the operators. They like it. They like the reliability of it, because if they're reliable, the customers are happier. It's a good relationship, as they're the ambassadors. So, you know, yeah, there's a lot going on here. It's exciting time for OC Transpo. Thank you.
Aiden, if you have a follow-up.
Yes. And again, to Mr. Leary, any update on the conversations with Metrolinx, and just wondering how things might change if that upload does take place? How does your role sort of shift from you know, being focused on trains to maybe shifting to the bus reliability? What changes if that does occur?
Well, you know, I'm friends with Michael Lindsay, the CEO at Metrolinx. He's a great individual. I've worked with him for years. You know, we've had discussions, and more of the discussions are about the operations that we both run. All right. A lot of the discussion when it comes to the upload is with the ministry and stuff. I didn't know, Mayor, if you'd like to give any additional information on that.
So just to answer your two questions, Aiden, I guess, first of all, the conversations are continuing. You know, we signed an agreement with the Minister of Transportation just a couple of weeks ago. I was in Toronto at Queen's Park yesterday and had further conversations about how to move everything forward. Our team at the city is engaged with the Finance Department and the Transportation Department at Queen's Park. So there's a lot of work to be done, and it's going to continue. In terms of the impact, you know, we'll have, once this upload is complete, we will have $85 million a year more that we will be able to reinvest in public transit, in better and more reliable service for our residents. We will be able to start moving forward on phase 3 that will bring light rail to Canada, Stittsville, and Barrhaven. It will lift an enormous burden off the taxpayers of Ottawa and off our transit service. And it will mean that Ottawa finally has the deal that other municipalities in Ontario got from the provincial government. We'll finally have fairness in Ottawa when it comes to public transit, that we'll have the same arrangement and the same financing from the provincial government that cities in the GTA have had for years. So it's a huge win for our city and a huge opportunity to dramatically improve public transit in Ottawa.
And just any expectation on when that may occur?
No, these things take time. They're complicated negotiations. You know, the province has been in the process of uploading the Gardiner Expressway in Toronto. That's still not done. They're uploading the 174 in Ottawa. That was a commitment they made 2 years ago. That's still not complete. We all wish it could happen sooner. The LRT is perhaps even more complicated than uploading the 174. So it's going to take time. But I think what I would underline is the fact that even as the work is being done on completing the upload, the partnership has begun. So I would compare it a little bit to, you know, we haven't set a date for the wedding, but we've moved in together. And so now, going forward, we're going to be working closely together. We're already seeing it. You know, Metrolinx supplied us with some axles that we could immediately put in place on the trains on line 1. You're going to see more of that kind of collaboration and cooperation and partnership while the transaction is being completed.
Et Sébastien.
Bonjour, une question pour vous, Monsieur le maire. Il y a un rapport qui va être publié la semaine prochaine au comité du logement qui dit que les mises en chantier Housing Starts à Ottawa ont augmenté en 2025 par rapport à 2024, mais Ottawa n'atteint toujours pas la cible provinciale. Est-ce que vous êtes au courant de ce dossier? Puis est-ce que ça va être un manque à gagner financièrement pour Ottawa?
Alors, j'ai parlé avec le ministre de Logement et des Affaires municipaux souvent, et je pense que nous savons que toutes les villes de l'Ontario ont manqué le cible en 2025. Ce n'est pas seulement Ottawa. Alors, je pense qu'il y aura des changements dans le plan de match pour le gouvernement provincial pour les financements des logements. Et je pense qu'Ottawa sera à la table pour les investissements du gouvernement provincial.
40% quand même de mise en chantier en plus par rapport à 2024. Est-ce que c'est une satisfaction pour vous malgré tout?
Oui, c'est clair qu'à Ottawa, nous avons eu une augmentation des mises en chantier pendant qu'une réduction partout en Ontario. Alors, c'est clair que notre plan d'action pour les logements a commencé à bouger le marché, a commencé d'avoir beaucoup d'impact. J'espère que ça continue en 2026, mais on sait aussi que nous n'avons pas tous les contrôles sur le marché. Il y a beaucoup d'autres pressions sur le marché. Alors, ce n'est pas seulement la ville qui décide combien de mises en chantier il y aura pendant une année, mais j'espère que les résultats se continuent.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
And next is Tyler at CTV.
Hi again. The East End extension, is there an update on that? Is there, when can we expect to see that potentially open?
Thank you. I think I said it a little earlier. Right now, the focus is on two-car trains by the middle of June. I will be back shortly thereafter as we stage, working with our contractors, stage that approach to when I can start reporting on trial running and trial testing for the east section and when we can anticipate an opening. But it's a little premature for me to give you any information right now.
And finally, Arthur at CBC.
Thanks. I think Fred touched on this in French to the mayor, but I wanted to ask Mr. Leary as well. A lot of these points in the 10-point plan are things that we have heard from OC Transpo before. Of course, Troy was also committed to working on bus and train reliability, building up the workforce, using the LRT to invest, upload to invest in the system. How is this anything more than a repackaging of what OC Transpo is already doing? And how can you convince customers that there's something really new here beyond business as usual?
Well, what I'm going to tell you is, for me, I said it very, very clearly. The foundation is here in this organization. Incredible people, very talented, knowledgeable. My job was to bring it together, integrate it, and tell the story, all right? And make sure that they understood, the glass is half full. It's not half empty. Things are very positive. The outlook is going to be positive, and I'm trying to build up the organization to feel very comfortable with that, and then helping them get through some of these challenges as well. Right, some of the maintenance, the way we're going to do it, the retiring of buses, bringing the new buses in, how quickly can we do that, right? Integrating the construction and the charging systems as they continue to bring these vehicles in. I'm just here to support an incredible group of people and let you know that the future is very positive for OC Transpo in this city.
But just a quick follow-up then, does this plan represent a change in direction, or is it simply, as you put it, telling the story about what's already being done?
Well, I'm going to say it's a little change in direction. There's a lot of, the mayor said it about working smarter, not harder, right? It's really helping these individuals understand the importance of communicating better, right? The city manager has made it very clear to me, right? There's so much good going on, communicate it, let it be known, right? Let people know that there's confidence in the organization and things are going to be better in the very near future. So that is my role in doing that. I'm working, teaching, helping, bringing ideas, the whole concept of non-fair revenues, having a little bit more discussion about being a good steward of public funding and demonstrating that we can bring more money in if we start taking some action, right? If they're doing it, but I'm just doing it a little differently with them, talking about digital advertising strategies, right, where we can get a little bit more money, right, to help ourselves while we're asking money from other levels of government in the city. You follow me? So I'm getting them to think differently.
Okay.
Just add
Yes, jump right in,
Yeah.
sir.
So just Arthur, just to add to what Rick said, I think you raise a fair question. OC Transpo customers have been through a lot over the last 7 years, 8 years since we started on this light rail journey. And again, I was as frustrated as anybody in 2021, 2022 about the state of OC Transpo. So people have been waiting a long time to see progress. I think what we're trying to show people is, first of all, there's no overnight solution to a problem that was years in the making. A lot of time and energy went into creating the problems that we have today. It's going to take time and energy to solve those problems. We want to show people that we're making progress and that, as Rick said, the foundation is in place for a brighter future for OC Transpo and for our customers. What's it going to take to be successful? We need to fix the trains. We need better leadership. We need a stronger workforce. We need more reliable buses. All of the pieces are starting to come together for that. We're not all the way there yet. Nobody's claiming that. But all of the pieces are starting to fall into place. We have, hundreds of electric buses that are either here or on their way. That's going to dramatically improve our fleet. We're starting to put in place the solutions we need on Line 1. Line 2 and Line 4 launched successfully and running well. No issues with that service compared to Line 1. A new general manager who has tons and tons of experience and expertise and has seen it all before. Those are the building blocks for a better future for OC Transpo. And I know it's asking a lot of our customers to say, please be patient, but the pieces are coming together to put us in a much stronger position with OC Transpo in the future. And the financial side of it is a huge part of that as well. The upload, having $85 million a year more to invest in transit, that's going to be a game changer. So there's a lot of things coming together right now, and we're turning the corner, and there's a much brighter future ahead.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Merci à tous. Ceci conclut le point de presse aujourd'hui.
Merci.